Hello guys, for today's video I'm going to show you how to use clipping mask in Photoshop. So I got this image from this, we're gonna turn it into this. And we are also going to dive deeper into selection tool techniques, creating the base layer, applying the clipping mask, using ellipse tool, adjusting layers, and background replacement. So let's fire up Photoshop. Now here we have this image of this cameraman, and when we say clipping mask, it's a powerful tool to control the visibility of one layer based on the content of another layer. So the first tip we're going to do is by creating a base background. To do that, let's go to adjustment layer and then select a solid color. Now this picker window appeared, and now you can already choose the color you want. Now we're going to choose white. And once you choose your background, we can already select OK. And then we're going to bring this solid color background behind our subject layer. The next thing we're going to do here is to select this subject and add it with a mask. So to do that, make sure that we're selecting on this layer over here, and then make sure that we are going to unlock this. And then let's use a quick selection tool to select our subject. So let's click on W as our shortcut key for quick selection tool. And then go up here and select subject. It will automatically make a mask around the cameraman. Once our subject is selected, let's click the select and mask beside it. And then you're going to see the properties here on the left side, and you can adjust or modify the smoothness, the feather, and contrast of our subject. And then once you already modify that, you can now go to output setting, click on this arrow, and then go to output 2 and change this selection to new layer with layer mask. Once we click that, there's another new layer here with a copy of our main image and has a mask layer on it, and the original image is no longer visible. Our next step here is to create a shape behind our subject with the use of the ellipse tool. But before we create a shape, we need to select our original layer that is no longer visible. Now once you select the layer, we can now create ellipse tool. To do that, we can just go on the left side of the screen, and then if you can't see the ellipse tool, just go to the 13 tool and then right click on it and then find ellipse tool. Now once we click it, we can change the option on top. For example, we want to change the fill color of this ellipse tool to color blue, for example. And then for the stroke, I want to remove that. Okay, now we already modified it. Now we can already apply this round shape behind our subject. Now you can see that we already created a circle behind our subject. Now I want to readjust the position of this circle. So to do that, you just have to click on that layer, and then we can adjust the size of it. Okay, and I want to move the position of this. So we can just use the move tool. Just go on the left side here and click this move tool, or the shortcut key is V. And then let's bring our circle in this position. Once we're done with this, now we can already apply the clipping mask. To do that, we should make sure that we click on the copy of the subject with its mask. Yes, this layer. And then right click on the layer and select create clipping mask. It's over here. And you can see we put the image just inside the circle, and nothing else around will show up, because the little arrow here means to put this layer in this layer. You will notice that the head is not included, So we're gonna bring that back. To do that, make sure that you're still selecting on this layer. And then we're gonna create a duplicate by pressing Ctrl plus J. And now we already made a copy of this layer. But if you have noticed, it is full copy of a layer, but it's not a clipping mask. Now we're going to erase some part of this image here below with the use of brush tool. And we're going to leave the head on top. But before we do that, if you find this video helpful so far, please consider subscribing to help YouTube algorithm show my video to other nerds like us. Going back, to remove this excess part with the use of brush tool, you just have to click on this layer and then click on the mask. Once we click that, let's go to brush tool. So for the brush tool, just have to click on B. And then we can just resize the brush tool. And then let's select 140 for example. And then let's remove those excess below this subject. I need a bigger brush, so let's adjust it to a bigger one, 300 maybe. And let's leave this part on top. Actually, this is already done, but if you want to change the background of the circle, to do that, you just have to click on the ellipse layer and click on the thumbnail and then choose any color you want. So in my case, I want to change it to orange color and select OK. Now we already changed the background, and that is how to use clipping mask in Photoshop.